All right, so this is the Proctorio Practice Quiz 1, and there was only one problem, and you have to solve this linear equation. Now, to solve this linear equation, you have to notice that there are sets of parentheses here. And so when there are sets of parentheses, you're going to use the distributive property. And so the distributive property involves multiplication, and it kind of makes sense because if you read this, this reads as negative 2 times 3x minus 2. So both of those terms inside this parentheses has to be multiplied by negative 2. All right, so it does read negative 2 times. So everything in here has to be multiplied by negative 2. And over here, you're going to add 3 times x plus 1, so the same thing. So you're going to distribute that positive 3. So every term that's inside this set of parentheses, you're going to multiply by positive 3. So that's involving the distributive property. So when I do that, I get negative 2 times 3x is a negative 6x, and then negative 2 times a negative 2 is a positive 4, and then 3 times x is a positive 3x, and then 3 times 1 is a positive 3, and that's going to equal 7. So on the left-hand side, you have these 4 terms. Now, next step is to combine like terms. So negative 6x and 3x are like terms. So I can combine them. I can write them as one term instead of 2. So remember, like terms are terms that have the same variables raised to the same exponent. So both of those terms here just have the variable x, and x is being raised to the first power in both cases. So I can combine them. And basically, you're just looking at their coefficients. A negative 6 plus 3. And remember, if you have trouble with signed numbers, use your calculator. So negative 6, so make sure you indicate the negative button. Negative 6 plus 3 is a negative 3. So this becomes negative 3x. And then you have your constants. Positive 4 and positive 3 is a positive 7. So those 4 terms, when I combine those 4 terms, I end up with these 2 terms. And that's going to equal 7. Now, to solve the linear equation, remember the idea is to bring all the variables to one side, constants to the other. So if you look at both sides, the only variable term is on the left-hand side. So let's keep that here, and let's bring this constant term to the right-hand side. So remember, you have to use properties of equality. So remember, the idea there is to get this side right here to only have the term negative 3x. To do that, you're gonna think of opposites here. So notice that negative 3x is or 7 rather, is being added to negative 3x. The opposite of adding 7 is to subtract 7. But properties of equality, what you do to one side, you have to do to the other to keep that system balanced. And so therefore, when I combine like terms, notice positive 7 and a negative 7 is 0. And same thing here, isn't it? Positive 7, negative 7 is 0. So what I eventually have is negative 3x is equal to 0. You have to have something on that side. Negative 7 and positive 7 is 0. And then notice that to get the variable x by itself, right now multiplying by negative 3. And let me go just rewrite this over. And so the opposite of multiplying by negative 3 is to divide by negative 3, both sides by that coefficient. So the coefficient of x, that number you're multiplying the variable by, that's called the coefficient. So you can divide both sides by that coefficient. Coefficient negative 3, notice you see negative 3. Divide on the left, divide on the right. And then now you're going to simplify. Negative 3 divided by negative 3 is 1. 1 times x is x, and that's what you wanted by itself. And that's going to equal, and then 0 divided by negative 3 is 0. And there's your solution. So the solution is x equals 0. And so that was Proctorio Quiz 1. And all the purpose of that quiz was to just make sure that you had downloaded Proctorio, and also you know how to upload your work. So you scan it or you take a picture of it and you upload your work using the appropriate link in Canvas. But that is the key to solving this linear equation.